congratulations, you've made it to the interview phase of the program. How do you prepare? What are the next steps, and what do you want to do to keep them engaged and keep them interested in you as a candidate? And what it boils down to is preparation, how you prepare, how you arrive, and how you make your first impression at the interview and with the interviewer go a long way. So I really want to focus in on how you prepare. And the one thing that really resonates in how you prepare is research, research, research. You'll hear me say this a lot during our talk tonight, but I think I can't emphasize enough how important it is that you really do your homework and learn about the company you're interviewing with. So what you want to focus on being a recent college graduate is what your transferable skills are. Life skills. They could be things you've learned in class that can relate to the job. They could be part-time jobs or internships you've had where you've had experiences or behaviors that could apply to the job that you're interviewing for. Also any sports that you participate in. So being part of a team in sports shows that you have that team mentality and you can work well on a team. It also shows drive and competitiveness. So you may want to highlight that.
I just wanted to piggyback on what she said, and absolutely very valid points for everybody that is looking for jobs for the first time and out in the market. When you walk in, those tangible preparedness is very, very important, no doubt, but there's an intangible factor, which is your mindset, which won't show on paper, which won't show on your resume. It won't even show when you walk in on your dress up. It's not going to show up. It's going to show in your attitude. So always have that winning attitude in your face. You walk in as if you have the job, not begging for the job. So you always have to come up with the approach that you're adding value. Always have a game plan. Always have a pitch ready that how you can contribute, as little as it is, even if it's a 0.2%, but make it known to the interviewer that, hey, this is what you bring to the table, and over a turn, like 10 steps forward, you will actually be saving that. Whatever skill sets that you bring to the table will save the company money. Have that approach. Definitely have a business mindset. Look business professional. Definitely do not walk in there in jeans and t-shirt unless you're going for Amazon or Google. That's a different story, or any startups. But typically in a business oriented organization, you want to look like a business person. You want to look someone presentable, someone confident, someone that other people will not only respect but also look up to, right? I'm assuming that not everyone here is going to have their first job. Some people are probably have worked in the past and they're going to go back into their career or a different path of career. Don't forget what you have learned, but also adapt to what the industry has evolved into. I'll tell you an ugly truth. The interviewer or the company doesn't really need you guys. Know this when you're walking in. You have to create a need, right? You need the interviewer. So the interviewer automatically will have an attitude that sometimes they'll talk more, they will cut you off, but you can't fire them. You're not hiring them. They're hiring you. So many a times you will come across a person who's not really like the perfect interviewer, so to speak. They will keep talking, or they'll put two, three questions together and expect you to know the answers or follow the answers chronologically. Get into a habit of writing down while the interviewer is talking. Write down your thoughts so that you don't forget your thoughts, because sometimes you hit a flash of genius at the moment when they're talking, but then when you're about to answer, you forgot exactly your chain of thought.
Wow. If someone comes in and says, hi, I'm Susanna, and I'm an accountant, and I figure out ways to maximize the value of our spend in a company, that's getting my attention if I'm a finance leader. If I'm an HR leader, which I am, what will get my attention is I find ways to maximize the potential of our company's talent. I'm listening. Tell me more. I'll remember you. So think about it, and I would actually recommend that you write it down and you practice it. You have the 30-second version, the 1-minute version, or by chance you're waiting for the elevator and you've got a couple of minutes, but it's exactly what Shaw said. How are you different from the 500 other accounting people that I've spoken to? Why do you stand out, and how do you add value? In the corporate world, it's all about value.
Profit, when you're looking at a profit-making industry, you obviously always have to come up with a value add, right? Your approach needs to be that you're putting something on the table that's going to either save money or make money, or you're at least not going to be a liability or a cost to the company, right?
Have you guys heard the acronym WIFM? Anybody? What's in it for me? If you can tell somebody what's in it for them, they're going to listen.
Example, tell me about your weaknesses, or tell me about a time you were not successful.
Be honest, be very real. Tell them a real challenge that you're facing. Like, let's just say if it's a time management. Like, a lot of people use time management as a very generic, cliche answer. But if you really have a time management issue, then do mention that. It's not going to work against you, but don't just mention it to sound good or to sound cliche. Have an answer ready of what you're doing to improve in whatever weakness it is. You guys know who you are, so make sure you write it down, be real, be honest, and don't be afraid.
Never be afraid to ask questions. In fact, I would encourage that you should have questions. Never decline the opportunity to learn more about a company or to display your natural curiosity, because that's what the question process is. And also keep in mind, the interview process is a two-way street. Yes, the interviewer is asking questions of you because they want to determine whether or not you would be a good fit for the company. But conversely, you should be interviewing the interviewer, because that's going to be your potential job that you're going to spend many hours, years potentially at this place. So you want to make sure you're going into it with eyes wide open and knowing as much as you can and want to know about the company. Also, be a very active listener during the interview process. And this may take practice, and this is why it helps to rehearse and role play, because you're nervous at the interview. Most of us are going to be nervous, so you want to be able to kind of have that nervousness, accept it, but also be present enough to be able to actively listen to what the interviewer.
When you're listening to someone, are you hearing what they're saying, or are you waiting to speak? And I have to ask myself that, just like probably most of us in the room do at certain points. Showing an interviewer that you're listening is both, it's subtle and it's overt. So, the subtle is kind of leaning in appropriately, slightly leaning in toward an interviewer. Shah's asking a question, leaning forward. Okay, I understand that. Visibly giving them cues that you're listening. I would recommend nodding versus saying yes, I know, because you don't want to break the rhythm of the interview. And for some folks, that may be seen as potentially interrupting. Don't interrupt. If you have a question, wait for a natural break in the conversation, or jot down a note.
When do you actually start negotiating, right? That's a grand question. So never on the first interview. Definitely. You should always start negotiating when you present to the interviewer that you have another opportunity. You should let the interviewer know that, hey, I have other interviews that I'm going with right now, and these are the offers that I'm getting. These are the numbers that are being presented. Be realistic. Don't be too greedy. I mean, as Gordon Gekko said, that greed is good. Not on your first job. Don't try to get something out of the range that you're not deserving of. So make sure the interviewer knows that you have other opportunities that you're looking at. There's other people that are willing to pay you the market compensation that you deserve. Right away at that point, you should start mentioning numbers, and you should start telling them, okay, this is what I think I should be making, and let them know that, hey, but I'm negotiable. I'm negotiable to the opportunity. I'm negotiable to the leadership skills that you guys are presenting, to the upward growth, the upward mobility that I have.
So understand that there are other components that make up what your compensation is, and so those are things like benefits, right? Do they have a good health plan? If not, you may be paying a lot of money out of pocket, which will significantly reduce your salary. Do they have a retirement plan in place that could, is an addition to what you're making, an addition that you won't see immediately, but for long-term savings, and other perks and things that are added to the paycheck, so to speak. So it's the total compensation. It's bonuses, it's benefits, it's perks, it's everything that's salary plus that you want to, when making an apples-to-apples comparison, if you're deciding on 2 or 3 different jobs, you want to really lay them out side by side and really see what, one company could be offering you $50,000 and another $70,000, but the larger salary may come with costs and expenses of $20,000 or $30,000. So is that really the better choice if you're just looking at dollar for dollar comparison. So keep that in mind as well.
Yes, but we are hearing a lot more, particularly of students coming out of school, about this more holistic quality of life is very important to them. They want to know, will I really be able to take my vacation? Because I want to go off and serve and do something, to have a purpose-driven vacation. So think about all of those things. You obviously need to have a certain financial level where you can survive, but put a value on what these other things are worth to you as well. And then, as Shaw said, you'll start to come up with a number that feels right in the grand scheme of things. But it really is about say what you mean what you say. So that's the sincerity, and don't be mean when you say it. People just want to know that they matter and that they're treated with dignity and respect. And when you're in the interview game, whether you're the interviewer or the interviewee, there's way more times you hear no and you don't hear what you want to hear than you hear yes. So I will tend to remember somebody who they leaned in, they were courteous, they waited for the natural pause. Just do those things, because it's not only about what you know, it's about how you're conducting yourself and how you answer the questions and how you listen to what the other person has to say and make them feel that they're important. These are all the things that go into the formula of differentiating you from the other 30 people that manager has spoken to.
Well, I'd like to thank Lisa, Shaw, and Michelle for taking the time to spend here with us. I want to thank everybody for coming, especially all the ALI members that came. I want to thank Stella and John for helping us put this event together.